loving every second of my new diet. Feeling more alive than ever. Hashtag addicted to healthy living. Hi, Dr. Richards. Come in. And you must be
Lauren Franklin, Chief Compliance Officer. So I got a text an hour ago about an emergency meeting. What's this all about? Whose office is this anyway? Do you know how long it takes me to get into the city?
Oh, sorry. Lauren, you're such a whinger. It's not every day you get called into a schmancy private city office. Why don't you enjoy the change before you have to slink on back to your cubicle at the office?
It's a long way from Casuarina Prison, Dr. Richards. And from Peppermint Grove, for that matter. How many tennis courts was it, Josh?
Lauren, tennis is good for you. You should try it sometime.
Some of us live life on a budget, and in the real world. Can we get on with this, please?
we're just waiting on Chairman Clark. He's on a port of Greyhounds, but he'll be here very shortly. Can I get you a coffee when he goes?
Longer.
Sure. Skinny latte with soy milk, quarter of a teaspoon of honey, cinnamon on top, and...
Sorry, Josh, no time for coffees tonight, my friend. Look, team, thanks for coming out at short notice there. Look, the meeting tonight is it's a bit unusual. It's on the record, but under the radar, if you catch my meaning. Hannah, who is the personal private secretary to this office, will take the minutes of the meeting. Hannah, when you're ready, please.
Yes, sir. Board of Directors, State Department of Corrections, please acknowledge attendance for the minutes. Chairman-person, Dr. Matthew Clark.
Present.
Resource Director, Ms. Emily Glendenning. Yes. Chief Compliance Officer, Deputy Commissioner Lauren Franklin.
Here, under sufferance.
Behavioural Specialist, Dr. Joshua Richards.
Yep. And off the record, Lauren is not the only one suffering.
Last one, just one big party, isn't it, Josh? Okay, thank you, Hannah. Emily, I believe that the agenda is yours.
Thank you. I asked Matt to call this meeting.
Can we make it a quick meeting?
As you know, I am a firm believer in the foundational premise of the goodness of man.
Emily, if you like, I can take you a quick drive around and show you at least 4,605 reasons to believe otherwise.
Josh, you know full well that the prison system holds 4,600... Oh, Josh, please, not tonight, please.
I am committed to the rehabilitation of our inmates through the proper use of medicinal restorative treatments.
With all due respect, I run a prison, not an animal shelter. And what does medicinal restorative treatment have to do with the chief financial officer?
Emily, we all want people to change. But I'm not totally convinced with your premise, the goodness of man. It's why we have our jobs. We are a correctional institution because basically, man is bad.
As CFO of this department, I have invited internationally recognized psychologist Dr. Henry Jennings to speak to us today. This is Dr. Jennings' office. He is a specialist in this area,
And his
research, if put into practice by this board, provides international recognition. Provides for significant resources.
Money.
It's what I do. Dr. Jennings.
So sorry I was caught on the call. Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I'm obliged to thank you all in advance.
Dr. Jennings, dispense with the niceties and get a move on.
Certainly, Miss Franklin. Please forgive my good manners. In late 1885, there came what is now called the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The good doctor's thesis and mine at times coincide and at times collide. Allow me to explain. Dr. Jekyll believed that within each and every one of us reside two separate natures, two distinct personalities, one good, one evil, one light, one dark. He believed it was the curse of mankind that these two extremes would be constantly at war with one another. In this, we coincide. He is quoted, in short, "It is clear to me now that we have the power to divide this primitive duality of man into its separate components, to isolate what is functional from what is dysfunctional." You see, Dr. Jekyll explained that his treatment took the form of rare drugs, precisely combined and administered through a hypodermic needle, a magic potion, if you will. Magic potion, if you will. In this, we collide.
Dr. Jennings, get to the point.
Certainly, Miss Franklin. Although Dr. Jekyll was on the right track, he was somewhat limited in his studies. What we have discovered in the 21st century is nature and nurture, or the power of the environment. I believe that with the proper environmental conditions, modern medicines, we could quite literally change a life forever.
You propose to give our inmates more drugs?
As you all know, there are many drugs that curb behaviour. The ADHD children are prescribed one. The clinically depressed are given something completely different.
Doctor, as the longest-serving member of this board, I've continually seen the outcomes of these drug strategies. Doctor, drugs, they're not the solution.
I agree with Matt. Pharmacotherapy does little to curb a corrupt nature. Often it leads to new addictions. And what's this environment nonsense?
Can't you see that man is a product of his environment? If you raise a child around poverty and substance abuse, you're likely to raise a thief and a drug addict. However, if you raise them around affluence, opportunity, education,
You raise an embezzler and a prescription drug addict.
Oh, Josh. Sorry, that's all. What is your proposal, Doctor?
that I would be allowed to experiment on one of your inmates, one from your prisons.
What? Experiment on a human being? Like a lab rat? And keep him confined to controlled scenarios?
No, train him, change him, and release him back into society.
Are you out of your mind?
Look, with proper environmental conditions, modern medicine's education, I can change an individual.
We change them here with justice and punishment.
Doctor, we would be moving on to difficult legal ground.
I believe minefield is the word. He wants to play God. Ever heard of ethics? You're a doctor, not a savior.
Give me a man. I will show you.
Doctor, are your methods proven?
Look, I've been listening with great
Emily. Doctor, is it proven?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Good.
I will admit the study is somewhat inconclusive, but I don't see any other way to change it.
I do. It's called the correctional system.
Colleagues, Dr. Jennings' request is simple, and if successful, it can provide us with international recognition. Look, a murderer was caught 2 weeks ago. Total lowlife. Let us release him to Dr. Jennings' transplant.
Board of Governors, Department of Corrections, we need to vote on this proposal. I say yes. Lauren?
He's out of his mind. No way.
Josh?
Sure. I'd like to see what he can do. Count me in.
Emily?